Every day, thousands of people come to Huddersfield town centre, from businessmen to students and shoppers. But is it fair that these people should have to try and struggle to find somewhere to park the car? And when they do find somewhere, is it fair that they should then have to be expected to pay up to 2 hours' wages just to leave their car?
Parking has always been a problem with every town and city. You'll always have more cars than spaces. But for the largest town in England, Huddersfield is definitely feeling the pressures to try and resolve parking issues. Imagine having to commute to Huddersfield and struggling to find anywhere to leave your car. Well, this is what hundreds of people have to deal with every day.
Is it a big problem? Do people find it difficult to park, do you think?
Depends what time of year you come in town. I mean, this time of year, then it's going to be a bit hard. I find anyway, so many people come in town Christmas shopping and what's not really. It's a bit more vacancy in the July, August, you know, when it's much people going on holiday somewhere. But this time of year, people come from all over doing Christmas shopping.
So this is the busiest time of year for you?
I would say so, yeah.
So obviously you give out tickets to people for doing, for parking illegally or for parking going against.
We don't do it much for illegally because we have some traffic warden from where we work from police station. They do illegal, like park and W line and what's not really. We just do the pay and display area.
The parking office in Huddersfield controls everything to do with all of the car parks in the town centre.
In the Huddersfield town centre area, you've about 20 car parks, plus a lot of on-street parking as well. I think our prices are fairly reasonable, and everything's comparative if you sort of go into other local authority areas. Many of them charge higher rates than we do. I would suspect around too many charge lower rates. You pay for what you get. Obviously, if you're going on short-term parking, your parking prices are higher per hour than if you're parking on the outside of the town centre and you're staying all day in the long-term car parks. For a parking contravention, the standard charge is £50 in Kirkless. If the fine is paid within 7 days of notice being issued, we do offer a discounted rate of £30, and this is in keeping with national guidelines from central government. It's not something really that is set by Kirkless Council. One of the main weapons that we have against the likes of thefts from cars and damage to cars is the fact that many of our car parks now have CCTV installed in them, which is a deterrent in itself. At the moment they're doing a lot of work down in what we call the northern quarter, which is towards the open market, and sort of parking facilities there will be improved over the next 3 years. But most of the car parks in Huddersfield now are pretty well up to scratch. They provide good parking facilities for people however long they want to stay in Huddersfield. I think the main thing about the Kingsgate car park is it's provided there basically for shoppers who are going to stay short term and then move on to somewhere else. We do provide quite a number of long stay car parks, very accessible to the town centre, and we do sell what we call contract permits, which people can purchase for periods of parking for 3 months or more, regularly in a number of car parks, and they would get something like 25 to 30% discount on the normal parking prices if they purchase a parking contract.
To park here at the Kingsgate Centre, you can expect to be paying around £8 per day. If we times this by 5 working days in a week, then already you're paying £40 just to leave your car. And if we were to say that you work 48 weeks in a year, then the total cost to leave your car in the Kingsgate Centre is £1,920.
But what do the people of Huddersfield think about the parking facilities in the town centre?
I think it's diabolical. There's nowhere to park, and especially for the disabled people as well, like myself. If you have to come into town, you have to come into town very early in the morning or late at night when the shops are closed.
In Huddersfield town centre, parking's quite good. Queensgate car park is very good, 70p an hour. I don't think the station's as good. It's the spaces are quite close together. And I think Kingsgate's more expensive, but generally, yeah, it's okay.
Personally, I think parking is very expensive, too expensive in fact, and coming here every day, it's just too much to spend.
I think although there's probably enough parking in Huddersfield, it's actually expensive compared to what it is if we're trying to attract people into the town. Then you're putting people off by charging, particularly in places like Kingsgate, which is a shopping centre, then should really be free parking or minimum charge. Well, I'm only in for half an hour, I've just dropped it onto a meter, but that then cost me 70p anyway. If I'm going to stay in for any length of time, I usually stay in a supermarket car park, end up shopping in the supermarket then to get the free car parking. So
I think it should all be free parking, not just for Christmas, not just for the New Year's, I think all parking should be free.
The problem with some people is they haven't moved at the modern age in that respect. I don't think you can go anywhere in any city centre car parking area now and expect free car parking.
The University of Huddersfield holds thousands of students. 3,000 first years were admitted this September alone. Yet the university car park is for permit holders only. How do you get one of these permits? Well, firstly you've got to work here, and even then you're not guaranteed a space, with only 40% of the staff being able to park here.
Liam Taburn is a 19-year-old media student from the University of Huddersfield. He has witnessed first-hand the troubles of parking in the town centre.
Last year it was fine with the free bus from Storsall. It was fine to get into town because you didn't have to find a place to park. Whereas this year, when as soon as we're all living in our own houses and whatnot, we have to drive into town as it's not as easy to get in. And it's a bit of a pain trying to find somewhere to park, as if you don't work somewhere like the courthouse as I do, you've got to try and find somewhere in town, and you either get a notice from either Tesco's or Sainsbury's trying to park there, or you just have to park somewhere where it's stupid prices. If I drive in, then I can't find somewhere to park, and I can't afford to park in one of the proper parking centres, as it's just too expensive, and as a student I don't have that money.
The problems with parking are not only affecting students and commuters, but many businesses such as Sainsbury's are also starting to feel the strain.
Earlier on this year, due to the increasing number of people commuting to Huddersfield, Sainsbury's and other large supermarket chains had to create set charges for leaving your car in their parking facilities.
Hi, it's Paul.
Paul Laughran, service duty manager at Sainsbury's, sees the issue of parking as a greater problem than ever before, as big retailers try to protect their car parks from non-consumers abusing their facilities.
Parking in Huddersfield is very difficult. It's a contentious issue at the moment. We're all here to make money. That's what it's about with regard to the stores and the trading side of it. And every single parking spot in Sainsbury's car park is potentially customers for us. And when we have our car park full, that's potentially lost sales. And it is a privately owned car park, so that's what we're here to do. We are very close to the town centre, so it does get abused, and it does obviously get abused from the university as well. Most town centres have issues, but only really when it comes down to big Christmas events or big events that causes problems. Generally, I think there's probably enough in there. It's just whether people are prepared to pay the prices to park in the town centres. There's a lot of off centres now, like the Meadow Hall and the White Rose Centre, where it's parking for free, and people are now expecting to park for free even in the town centres. Trying to encourage people obviously to come into the town centre as well, so we're conscious that we're a big store, and that does attract people into the town centre. So the first 30 minutes are free, and that's what we've asked for. If people use Sainsbury's in shopping the store, there's just a minimum spend we're asking for, which is about £10. And that gives you 2 hours free, so you're getting 2.5 hours free parking for spending £10 in the store. If you don't use the car park at all, or don't use Sainsbury's at all, sorry, then there's a £10 charge, and that rises to £10 an hour after 2 hours. That's just to discourage people from actually just using the car park as a free parking for town centre. Parking generally for universities needs to be sufficient for the people that use the university. It's pretty much the same for the town centre. If we were to accommodate all the people that work in the town centre alone, that would probably fill all the car parking spaces we've got now, and then they've got the shoppers and everybody else who uses the town centre on top of that, and that's the same for us. If we were just to say it's an open car park, then I'm sure it'd be filled with people that are paying £5 and £6 a day to park in the town centre just to work. We're not here to provide free parking for people in the town centre, we're here to provide a service, and the service we provide is obviously in the retail industry, and we can't really be providing free parking for people because our customers would not be able to park in our stores, and obviously we wouldn't make a lot of money that way.
But unfortunately, the majority of the public believe that the costs of leaving their car in the town centre are too high. Perhaps if there was enough car parking spaces, then people would not mind paying the higher prices, and a compromise between those that provide parking and those that need it would be met. So, to summarise, there are approximately 210,000 people living in Huddersfield and Huddersfield surrounding areas, with only 2,000 parking spaces in the town centre. And if you are lucky enough to find a parking spot, you can be expected to pay up to a whopping £1,920 per year.
So, overall, is it worth not paying for parking and risk getting a fine or even a clamp? Well, I'd say no. But had you asked me 10 minutes ago, my answer would have been very different.
For a town as busy as Huddersfield, there are just simply not enough parking spaces. So what is the obvious answer? Well, unfortunately, there isn't one. There just isn't enough space to make any more car parks. So I guess there's just not enough room in this world for every man's car.